The top stories tonight in Y News. President Rodrigo Duterte assures careful spending of funds under the Bayanihan 2 law.
We will be careful with the next round of Bayanihan. There's still money to be given to the people, to the poor.
Despite a lowering trend in single-day case count of COVID-19 in the country, the Health Department reiterates this is not a reason to let down our guard. Meanwhile, as of today, we are still the country number 19 among nations and territories turned upside down by the coronavirus pandemic, just a little below Italy's case count and a bit above Turkey's caseload.
President Rodrigo Duterte sees no reason to charge Health Secretary Francisco Duque III over the PhilHealth mess. Also, the probe into alleged irregularity will continue, despite President Duterte's continued confidence in the health chief.
I have yet to find yung sabi nila na ididemanda si Duque dahil may kasalanan. I have read the findings, and for the life of me, I cannot really find a good reason to prosecute an innocent.
The House of Representatives approved on second reading House Bill 7727 or the 2021 General Appropriations Bill. Malacanang thanks the lower chamber for such a move, but distances itself from the House speakership row anew.
U.S. President Donald Trump returns to the White House, where he will continue treatment for COVID-19.
And New Zealand passport currently the most powerful in the world. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, October 6, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news, the public has nothing to worry about how the government has been spending the funds intended to respond against the COVID-19 pandemic. Our palace correspondent Rosa Licoz tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte assured the public anew in his public address last night that the government will carefully spend the funds under the Bayanihan to Recover as One or Bayanihan 2.
We will be careful with the next round of Bayanihan. There's still money to be given to the people, to the poor, especially.
The chief executive also said he made sure that not a single centavo went to the pockets of government personnel with regard to the budget allocated under the First Bayanihan Act or Republic Act 11469, also known as Bayanihan to Heal as One Act. While Bayanihan 2 provides a 165.5 billion peso fund for the government's COVID-19 response. Also, the Duterte administration yesterday submitted to Congress its first report on the implementation of Bayanihan 2. The report includes the 18.058 billion pesos worth of funds under the Bayanihan grants for local governments. The palace also reported the amount of loans secured by the Department of Finance amounting to $9.91 billion in addition to COVID-19 response funds. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Despite a lowering trend in single-day case count of COVID-19 in the country, the Health Department reiterates this is not a reason to let our guard down. Our health correspondent Aiko Miguel explains why.
From an average of 3,000 new COVID-19 cases in the country daily, the number has gone down to 2,400 single-day record. According to the Department of Health, this is proof that generally the trend of coronavirus infection in the Philippines has improved. But Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere reminds that this is not a reason for the people to be complacent and lower their guard.
Nakakakita pa rin tayo ng mga lugar na specific dito sa ating bansa na mayroong mga increase in the growth rate for the past 2 weeks, no? So binabantayan natin maigi yan.
Undersecretary Vergere adds that the improvements in the country are attributed to the strengthened contact tracing efforts and improved health system capacity. The government has also sustained underwhelmed hospital capacity. The DOH official also says that they have read and were informed of the social weather station survey last week, which states that there has been a decrease of 13% among people who wear masks and a drop of 10% in hand washing among Metro Manila residents. The DOH says the public must responsibly observe health protocols as Metro Manila remains as the epicenter of COVID-19 in the country.
So kailangan lang, hindi pa rin tayo complacent. We remain to be vigilant. We are seeing improvements dito sa ating mga ginagawang response. Nakikita natin yung numbers, as we have said, ay medyo bumababa. But still, we monitor those areas with clusters, with increasing growth rate.
Meanwhile, with the current trend of the disease, National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. is confident that Metro Manila can relax to modify general community quarantine in the next months.
It's very possible. Nakita po natin na possible talaga. We are so happy to report that continuous ang lighting ng ating mga mayors ang kanilang response dito sa NCR. Nakita natin na tuluyan ang bumaba. Very happy nga kami nung dati, libo-libo ang ating active cases. Pero sa ngayon po, talagang bumaba na po.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Various criticisms were thrown against DepEd after the Education Secretary's statement that Monday's school opening was a victory. However, DepEd commits to find ways to help teachers and learners for the different modalities of learning amid the pandemic. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Department of Education earned criticisms after Secretary Leonor Briones said that the opening of classes yesterday was a victory. The College Editors Guild of the Philippines, a group of tertiary student publications, said that some teachers and learners cannot catch up with the current education system. The National Union of the Students of the Philippines, on the other hand, criticizes the difficulties in online classes experienced both by teachers and students. DepEd admits that the implementation of distance learning, particularly the online modality, remains a top challenge due to poor connectivity in the country.
Ang nakikita namin na continuing challenge, of course, is connectivity. Pero kaya nga, blended ang learning natin. Kasi kung hindi uubra ang isang paraan tulad ng connectivity, pero mayroon din kahapon, makita ninyo sa isang lugar sa Nueva Ecija na naka-develop sila ng paraan na hindi na kailangan na pumapasok yung mga servers.
But DepEd assures it is looking for all possible ways to fix the problem in order not to hamper the delivery of education. There are other modalities that the students can access if online learning is not possible, such as using printed or digital modules, as well as the television and radio-based instructions, which are for free.
Mayroon talagang mga unusual situations. Ngayon, ang aking undersecretary na sa Batangas halimbawa, kasi may problema doon yung mga teachers daw na umakyat sa tuktok na isang building, makakuha ng signal. Ako din, lumalabas din ng bahay. Tayo, naglalabasan ng mga bahay natin kung nagpo-problema tayo sa connectivity.
The Education Department finds ways to support teachers, such as providing internet allowance through DepEd's 2021 proposed budget. Dante Amento, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte orders the Department of Health to distribute stock medicines before they expire. This comes following a report from the Commission on Audit, or COA, stating that the DOH has accumulated 2.2 billion pesos worth of expired overstock or nearly expired medicine and medical and dental supplies. Based on the 2019 annual audit report on the DOH, this is due to poor procurement planning, inefficient and uncoordinated transfer and distribution, and lack of proper monitoring and proper storage. But according to the Health Department, it has only 13 million pesos worth of expired medicines. And the other 1.2 billion pesos accounts for overstock and idle supplies.
Ang mandato po ng Presidente sa DOH, lalong-lalo na yung mag-expire na, pakidistribute na po ng hindi masayang, at yung mga overstock at slow-moving naman po, ilabas na po natin sa ating mga warehouse ng magamit ng ating taong bayan.
Meanwhile, the country's Department of Health says that 2,093 new cases were reported today. The National Capital Region logged only more than 500 additional cases, a number which is much less than what it reported in previous days. Now, the country has a total of 326,833 confirmed cases of coronavirus. We are number 19 among countries and territories turned upside down by the pandemic, just below Italy by 753 and above Turkey by 787, while the total number of active cases rose from yesterday to 47,655. Of that number, 85.6% are in mild condition, while 9.5% are asymptomatic. A total of more than 3.7 million individuals in the country have been tested for COVID-19. We have lost 25 more patients. But through our fervent prayers, medical interventions, and sacrifices of our medical frontliners, 209 more people have won their battle against the invisible enemy. That brings the total recoveries nationwide to 273,313. Thanks be to God.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization chief addressed the Executive Board special session on COVID-19 on Monday. He renewed his call for global solidarity. Nina Armilio tells us why.
It is estimated that 10% of the global population may have been infected with the virus, senior officials with the World Health Organization said on Monday. Speaking in a special session of the agency's executive board on Monday, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus revealed that 10 countries account for 70% of all reported cases and deaths, with just 3 countries account for half. He told the 34 members that not all countries have responded the same way, and not all countries have been affected the same way.
Although all countries have been affected by this virus, we must remember that this is an uneven pandemic.
DG Tedros added that there are roughly 4 different situations that countries are facing. First, some countries have acted decisively and quickly and have avoided large outbreaks. Second, some countries have had large outbreaks but were able to bring them under control. Third, while some countries brought the virus under control, as economies and societies have eased restrictions, there has been an increase in cases. And fourth, there are still some countries that are in the intense phase of the transmission.
What we have learned in every region of the world is that with strong leadership, clear and comprehensive strategies, consistent communication, an engaged, empowered, and enabled population, it's never too late.
Meanwhile, Dr. Michael Ryan, WHO Emergencies Director, reported that the pandemic continues to evolve, with a surge in Southeast Asia, an upward trajectory in the Northern Hemisphere, and an increase in cases and deaths in Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean. The situation is currently rather more positive in Africa and the Western Pacific, the expert added. Dr. Tedros also highlighted that to fight the pandemic, we need to go faster and together.
Excellencies, the pandemic is a wake-up call for all of us. We must all look in the mirror and ask what we can do better and learn honestly.
Dr. Tedros yet again called on nations for global solidarity, saying he will never be tired to do so.
Finger pointing will not prevent a single infection. Apportioning blame will not save a single life. We're all in this together. I hope you know, and we all know, that fighting each other wastes more energy. We can actually finish this virus with less energy.
Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Let's now take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of over 35.5 million confirmed cases in 188 countries, regions, and sovereignty. That's after close to 295,000 new cases were reported across various countries from yesterday. The fast-spreading disease has claimed more than 1.04 million lives globally, while more than 4,000 deaths in the last 24 hours. While almost 24.76 million patients across the globe have recovered from the new coronavirus infection. Thanks be to God.
President Rodrigo Duterte sees no reason to charge Health Secretary Francisco Duque III over the PhilHealth mess. Also, the probe into alleged irregularities will continue despite President Duterte's confidence in the health chief. Rosa de Cos details why.
President Rodrigo Duterte defended Health Secretary Francisco Duque III yet again. It comes after Senator Panfilo Lacson gave a statement on the issue. The lawmaker believes the Task Force PhilHealth has found enough evidence to indict Health Secretary Duque. But according to President Duterte, he has already reviewed Task Force PhilHealth's findings and he sees no reason to condemn the health chief.
I have yet to find yung sabi nila na ididemanda si Duque dahil may kasalanan. I have read the findings. For the life of me, I cannot really find a good reason to prosecute an innocent man.
The palace, meanwhile, clarifies that the statement of the president is a vouch of trust and confidence. However, investigations on the corruption and irregularities in the state health insurer will continue despite this.
Tuloy pa rin ang investigasyon ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno, kasama na po ang Task Force on PhilHealth, na rinirespeto naman po ni Presidente ang mga nagiging resulta ng investigasyon.
This is also the position of Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, the chief of Task Force PhilHealth, who said that the statement of the president is not an expression of exoneration. He also believes that the president will not impede the legal process from taking its due course if evidence should turn up against anyone regardless of the position. Rosa Licos, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Selected workers in Manila City take advantage of free COVID-19 tests provided by the local government. Let's find out why from Asher Kadapan Jr. live. Yes, Asher.
Arlene, the free mass swabbing for COVID-19 testing for local workers in Manila City began today. This project, initiated by the Manila City government, aims to ensure workers in establishments frequently visited by the public are COVID-19 free. The local government believes that this move will alleviate the worries of the public in transacting in establishments. This will also contribute to the revival of the economy, especially the livelihood of Manileños who have been severely affected by the crisis brought about by the pandemic, the city government said. Let's hear it from Manila Vice Mayor Maria Sheila Hani Lacuna.
Magkakaroon na po sila ng kapatanagan ng kanilang pag-iisip at kalooban na kahit papano po, kapag lumabas po yung resulta ng kanilang swab testing, be it positive or negative, ay mapoproteksyonan po nila yung kanila po una-una sarili, ang kanilang pamilya, at yung mga tao pong kinikater nila.
Today, the mass swabbing targeted vendors in retail markets, drivers of public utility vehicles in Baseco compound, and mall workers in the 4 malls in the initial list of the Manila LGU. Based on the data submitted by Santa Ana Hospital, where the swab specimens are being tested for COVID-19, 427 only participated today, which is half of the number targeted per day. Workers, on the other hand, expressed their gratitude for the free COVID-19 test, as most have it for the first time as they cannot afford its cost in private hospitals.
Malaking tulong ito sa mga jeepney tricycle driver kasi pag may sakit na yung makaawa para maagapan, hindi makakuan sa iba.
Salamat sa ating butihing mayor, at least mayroong mga ganitong sistema para makaiwas yung tayo sa COVID. Ganon din yung pamilya natin para magkaroon ng safe na kung paano kikita.
Meanwhile, Harleen, the Department of Labor and Employment identifies jobs which are resilient to the pandemic. Those include healthcare work, logistics, information technology, business processing outsourcing, education, and construction. According to Dole, from more than 10,000 job openings that the government opened for healthcare workers, about 8,000 have already been filled in. More medical personnel are still being employed as the pandemic continues. There are also more than 10,000 job vacancies awaiting to be filled in the business process outsourcing industry, while online instructors are in demand in the current school year as the education system in the country adopts the distance learning program due to the global health crisis. The construction sector also offers job opportunities as build projects under the Duterte administration continue. The demand for transport network and delivery service drivers keeps increasing as well, especially as the holiday season is just around the corner. Harleen?
Asher, going back to the swab testing in Manila City, why is it that the turnout today only about half of the target number per day?
Arlene, according to the Manila Public Information Office, the number does not include the swab specimens from the LGU 6 district hospitals, which are the ones conducting the swab tests in the field. Also, the Manila LGU marked some workers scheduled for swabbing today as no-show. Harleen?
Thank you so much. Asher Kadapan Jr. reporting live.
The House of Representatives approved on second reading House Bill number 7727, or the 2021 General Appropriations Bill. This was after House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano motioned to close the period of deliberation. A small committee was also formed to handle the individual and committee amendments to the proposed 2021 national budget. After the approval, a motion was made to suspend the legislative calendar session until November 16, 2020.
Meanwhile, Malacanang distances from the House speakership ruckus anew. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, this is an internal matter among the lawmakers. However, the palace official thanks the House of Representatives for the timely passage of the 4.5 trillion peso national budget for 2021 on second reading. According to House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, this is to disprove the allegation of Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco that he is using the 2021 national budget to keep his position.
Marinduque Representative Alan J. Velasco met with President Rodrigo Duterte last night, according to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. Meanwhile, 3 representatives lost their committee leadership posts. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque has confirmed that Marinduque Representative Alan J. Velasco met with President Rodrigo Duterte at around 10 last night. According to Secretary Roque, Velasco was the one who requested for the meeting regarding the speakership in the House of Representatives.
Humingi po ng permiso si Congressman Lord Alan para tumakbo bilang speaker, at ang sagot po ng presidente, quote, "Karapatan mo yan, sang-ayon sa kasunduan ninyo kay Speaker Alan Cayetano,"
But Secretary Roque does not want to interpret further what this could mean.
Ayaw ko na pong mag-annotate. Yan lang po ang pinasabi sa akin sa Taong Bayan. At I think people can make their own conclusions. No? Malinaw po naging kasagutan na ng Presidente. Yan ay purely internal matter ng mga Kamara sa Kamara de Representante. Decision po yan ng individual na mga miyembro ng Kamara. So kahit anong gawin nila, basta may numero ay po pwede.
House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano challenged Congressman Velasco yesterday to remove him from post.
Kung may numero kayo, just do it. Diba? Anyone can stand in the floor and move na palitan. You have to do it, and I gave you the chance noong September 30 para nga isa na lang gumawa ng budget para hindi maapektuhan ang tao.
Meanwhile, several committee leaderships in the lower chamber of Congress were changed today. Quezon Representative Angelina Tan was replaced by Guimaras Representative Maria Lucille Nava as the chairman on Committee on Health. Ang BIS-OA Party List Representative Sharon Garin was also removed from post as the Economic Affairs Chairman and was replaced by Aklan Representative Chodorico Jaresco. For the Committee on Youth and Sports, Manila Representative John Marvin Yul Servan Nieto replaced Valenzuela Representative Eric Martinez. The changes in House Committee leaderships were carried out amid the issue of term sharing agreement on the House speakership between Cayetano and Velasco. It happened after Camiguin Representative X.J. Romualdo made a motion to nominate and elect right before Speaker Cayetano's speech. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, is appealing to lawmakers for the increase of its proposed budget for next year as it fulfills a roadmap towards improving the country's internet speed amid the new normal. DICT Secretary Gregorio Honasan said out of the ideal 18 billion pesos that they have requested for the National Broadband Program, only 900 million pesos was approved by the Department of Budget and Management. Meanwhile, on the free Wi-Fi for All project, the agency asked for 6.3 billion pesos, but only 2.7 billion pesos made it to the National Expenditure Program. As of now, according to the DICT, they have built over 5,000 sites servicing only 5 million unique users. The agency underscored the importance of the program as 30% of the 47,000 barangays in the country are considered as geographically isolated and disadvantageous areas. The secretary also expressed frustration that the agency did not receive allocation from the Bayanihan 1 and 2 laws, and instead they suffered a 4.28 billion peso slash from their fund. Honasan also clarified his earlier statement during a House hearing that the country's internet speed is not that bad, with an average of 3 to 7 megabits per second or Mbps compared with 55 Mbps of other countries.
I apologize to the chair and to the Senate President. I should have really said, para medyo may positive note naman, na it's not yet that good. But we are trying to improve it. Wag naman yung it's not that bad. Yung ultimate beneficiaries at victims ng slow internet speed, pag tinanong po ninyo, ang sagot po agad is, nagbabayad naman kami pero walang signal. O kaya, ang bagal, I'm working from home, no? I'm studying from home. So we understand that and we take full responsibility.
The National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC, said the third major telco player, Dito Telecommunity, has committed to deliver a minimum speed of 27 Mbps in January next year and up to 55 Mbps in July 2021. NTC Commissioner Gamaliel Cordoba added Globe Telecom and Smart Communications are now on the race to building more sites. Senator Panfilo Lacson, who chaired the subcommittee, vowed to restore the budget cuts in the DICT's priority projects in the committee report and to support the increase in the plenary deliberations.
For President Rodrigo Duterte, beep cards used on the EDSA busway must be given for free. Jo Anano tells us why.
Following complaints from public commuters over the 80 peso charge for beep cards, President Rodrigo Duterte in his public address last night said he will talk with Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade regarding the possibility of waiving the cost of beep cards.
Kaya yung card na yan, card lang naman yan, ibigay na yan libre. Bakit pabayaran pa? We have been wasting so many billions to corruption. Tapos hindi ba maibigay? That's why I would like to talk to Secretary Tugade next meeting, because I would raise with him the possibility of giving it free.
Despite AF Payment Incorporated's proposal to provide 125,000 beep cards for free to passengers who cannot pay for the card, the Department of Transportation stands firm that beep cards should be given for free. AF Payments is also considering the use of QR tickets as an alternative for cashless transaction. In response to President Duterte's order, transportation officials are now in search of other automated fare collection system providers who can offer free cards to the riding public. The DOTR will also consider the interoperability of automated fare collection systems.
Yung direction ni Secretary Tugade dito at ng DOTR, yung cashless transactions should be able to operate on an integrated manner. And it should be interoperable before the end of this year. So that's the target. So ang sabi ni Secretary Tugade, there should be no monopoly, and we need to open the automatic fare collection system to all providers, but they should be able to integrate and operate the system for free.
For now, the no beep card, no ride policy on the EDSA busway remains suspended. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board will be issuing guidelines for the regulation of the automated fare collection scheme. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Interagency Task Force Against COVID-19 endorses to the House of Representatives the recommendation of local chief executives to resume the pilot study on motorcycle taxis. This is through IATF Resolution number 77. It was in April when the pilot test run for motorcycle taxis concluded. The Congress has to pass a legislation to legalize the operation of motorcycle taxis as another mode of public transportation.
Inendorso po ng IATF sa House of Representatives Committee on Transportation ang request ng mga local chief executives ng Metro Manila para sa Department of Transportation na ituloy ang pilot study ng motorcycle taxis pending enactment of the appropriate registration.
Now, here's a glimpse of what's the weather like in parts of the country. A low-pressure area, or LPA, and the southwest monsoon are affecting parts of the country. State Weather Bureau Pagasa says as of 3 p.m. today, the LPA was located 480 kilometers east of Infanta, Quezon. The LPA and the southwest monsoon will bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Zamboanga Peninsula, Palawan, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Isabela, Nueva Ecija, Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, Aurora, Quezon, and Camarines Norte, while Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms due to localized thunderstorms or the southwest monsoon. Possible flash floods or landslides may occur during severe thunderstorms. No tropical cyclone advisory is issued.
Last night, when he addressed the nation, President Rodrigo Duterte ordered concerned government agencies to destroy all confiscated illegal drugs within a week. Both the PNP and PDEA expressed willingness to obey their president's order and beat the deadline. Both agencies also say they are in favor of the president's order. Our police correspondent Lea Ilagan reports why.
The Philippine National Police and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency will obey the orders of President Rodrigo Duterte to destroy all confiscated illegal drugs within 1 week. This measure aims to avoid the recycling of illegal drugs seized by authorities during their operations. PNP Chief Police General Camilo Cascolan says that he has talked with PDEA on the destruction of illegal drugs.
Actually, napag-usapan na rin naman namin yan dati ng PDEA. Okay naman, actually within 3 days ka. Dapat yung nausapan, within 3 days, wala na yan, susunugin na yan.
Based on Republic Act 9165 or the Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 Section 21, after the filing of criminal case, the court has 72 hours to conduct an ocular inspection of the confiscated drugs. The PDEA has 24 hours to proceed with the destruction or burning of the confiscated illegal drugs in the presence of the accused, his representative or counsel, a representative from the media and the Department of Justice, civil society group, and any elected public official. According to PDEA Director General Wilkins Villanueva, they have been destroying confiscated illegal drugs. In fact, they destroyed 13.36 billion pesos worth of illegal drug substance last August in Trece Martires, Cavite.
Gumagalaw na kami ngayon nga para mabig yung 1 week niya. Pero actually ginawa na natin yan last time, yung nag-destroy tayo noong August.
DG Villanueva adds they have also scheduled the destruction of 800 kilograms of illegal drugs for this month, but the judge rescheduled it for November due to conflict in schedules. The PDEA chief further says that 700 kilograms more of illegal drugs shall be destroyed, which are from their archive cases.
Hindi naman natin ma-destroy dahil walang accused, tentative of the accused, so hindi pwedeng i-destroy. So marami tayong nire-resolve ngayon. Hindi namin na 1 week matapos yung kay Presidente, pilitin namin.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A new witness testified in today's resumption of a Senate panel's hearing on the so-called Bastilla Scheme in the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The committee presented Immigration Officer 2 Jeffrey Dale Ignacio, who admitted that he was a member of the money-making scheme group. According to Ignacio, he joined the group as a foot soldier, just like the first witness, Immigration Officer Alison Chong, in 2017, when the augmentation or the overtime pay for immigration personnel was stopped. He confirmed the testimonies of Chong about the VIP treatment to Chinese nationals and the automatic entry of those who have visa upon arrival. He adds they receive 5,000 to 20,000 pesos per week or every 2 weeks for being the frontliners for the scheme. The second witness also tagged former Ports Operation Division Chief and BI Deputy Commissioner Mark Red Marinas and the heads of Travel Control and Enforcement Unit of NAIA as the bosses. Ignacio also revealed that Marinas' lawyers told them not to respond to the subpoenas of NBI and further used him and other immigration officers involved as shields to clear them from the allegations.
Ang naaalala ko po ay sinabi ni Sir Red na may contact daw po sila sa ombudsman. Sabi po ni Sir Red, sana daw matapos bago ang filing of candidacy. Pag manalo daw ang kabila, magkakaproblema kami.
Sino yung kabila?
Hindi po sigurado, Senator Rizzo, pero sa tingin ko po, if kayo po siguro yung tinutukoy nila na if manalo po kayo or maupo sa pwesto, talagang malilintikan po yung mga kaso.
The lawyer of Marinas denied the claims of the witness. Ignacio added that they were met by NBI Legal Assistance Bureau Chief Attorney Joshua Paul Capiral and asked him and other immigration officers to prepare 100,000 pesos. Capiral was then arrested in an entrapment operation on September 21 for allegedly accepting bribes from those who were involved in the scheme in exchange of excluding them from the filing of charges. Meanwhile, former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre denied the allegations of Communist Ramon Tulfo that he appointed Red Marinas' father, Maynardo Marinas, as the head of Bureau of Immigration Special Operations and Communications Unit, or SOCU, which oversees the process of visa upon arrivals. Aguirre said he didn't know that the older Marinas had been assigned to the post when he appointed its son as the Ports Operation Division's chief, wherein the SOCU is a sub-unit.
Hindi niyo po alam na nandun na yung tatay ni Red Marinas?
Hindi ko po alam. Hindi nga po ako nagma-micromanage eh. Hindi ko po alam yan. At yan po ay wala naman pong conflict of interest dyan eh.
According to the NBI, following the testimonies of Ignacio and the recent developments, more individuals will be charged aside from the original 40 immigration officers identified to be involved in the scam. Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality Chair Senator Risa Hontiveros said Senate President Vicente Soto III has approved the granting of legislative immunity for Ignacio. The Mariñases and two other immigration officials who were earlier subpoenaed have been cited in contempt by the committee for not showing up in today's hearing.
And for the news abroad, here's Elsie Marcos reporting live from Auckland, New Zealand.
U.S. President Donald Trump left Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on Monday to return to the White House. Mr. Trump will continue to be treated for the coronavirus in his official residence as he looks to restart his re-election campaign. Shortly before his departure, Trump said he planned to promptly return to the campaign trail. He has less than a month left to fight for a second term in office. Dr. Sean Conley, the White House physician, said the president's condition has continued to improve over the past 24 hours, but cautioned that he may not entirely be out of the woods yet.
We're going back to work, we're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front, I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune, I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there, be careful. We have the best medicines in the world, and it all happened very shortly, and they're all getting approved, and the vaccines are coming momentarily.
In Northern Ireland, almost 400 students and staff at Queen's University in Belfast are self-isolating. This after more than 160 people tested positive for coronavirus. A university spokesperson said the safety and well-being of staff and students is the university's first priority. They also said evidence gathered during contact tracing indicated that transmission was occurring in social or accommodation settings as opposed to elsewhere on the campus. More than 50 universities in the UK are now reported to have COVID cases. Let's now take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases in countries worst hit by the pandemic. Still with the highest cumulative COVID-19 cases, the USA now has over 7.4 million, with more than 210,000 death cases. India, on the other hand, on Tuesday has over 6.68 million confirmed cases. Its cases rose by more than 61,000 in the last 24 hours, data shows. India today became the third country to exceed 100,000 deaths from COVID-19 infections, coming after the United States and Brazil. Last week, India further eased restrictions and permitted states to open schools and movie theaters. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that tiny particles that linger in the air can spread the coronavirus. This based on CDC's guidelines updated October 5th, just a few weeks after the health agency had acknowledged a role for the particles and then abruptly removed it. The CDC acknowledges that tiny airborne particles that can travel beyond 6 feet can be infectious, though the latest wording says they aren't the main way the virus spreads. The virus is primarily transmitted via respiratory droplets by people in close contact, including those who are physically near or within about 6 feet of each other, the CDC guidelines says. CDC continues to believe that available data indicate that SARS-CoV-2 has spread more like most other common respiratory viruses, primarily through respiratory droplet transmission within a short range. Nonetheless, airborne transmission of SARS-CoV-2 can occur under special circumstances. Aerospace giant Boeing will manufacture its military aircraft for the first time outside of US after signing a historic deal with the Queensland government in Australia. Joining us tonight is one of our correspondents in Australia, Marvy Delphine, to tell us why live. Yes, Marvy?
And Australia its new home for the designing, engineering, and manufacturing of its unmanned defense aircraft named Loyal Wingman. The company's Australian presence is now its largest footprint outside the United States, with more than 1,700 staff and 400 Queensland suppliers. This new partnership will mean more high-skilled jobs, local supply opportunities, and defense industry stimulus for Queensland as the area continues to recover and grow from the COVID-19 downturn. Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk said the creation of additional new aerospace capability could see unmanned defense aircraft produced here by the middle of the decade, with prototype testing and certification taking place before that. Let us also hear more about this from Queensland Treasurer Cameron Dick.
Of course, when it comes to good quality, high-paying jobs in Queensland, nothing is better. Nothing beats being part of working with Boeing to design, to engineer and to build the first military aircraft in Australia for more than 50 years. And we've got a great partnership with Boeing, but more importantly, in our people. The quality manufacturing that comes out of this state is the best in the world because we have the best workers in the world working in advanced manufacturing.
Boeing Australia, New Zealand, and South Pacific President Brendan Nelson said this was a significant milestone for the company, allowing the introduction of technologies such as advanced robotics, investment in universities, small to medium enterprises, and startup companies, as well as creating global export opportunities for Australia's supply chain. Elsie?
Marvy, this Loyal Wingman aircraft is the first of its kind from Boeing. What would be the features of this new combat drone?
Elsie, in an effort to acquire capabilities to complement the United States Joint Strike Fighter or JSF and boost the capability of the Royal Australian Air Force or RAAF, the Loyal Wingman was designed to operate in partnership with crewed platforms. With its modular design, it can undertake a range of missions including strike, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare. Tactically, it would be deployed going in harm's way rather than risking pilots in heavily contested airspace. This is definitely set to transform Australia's defense industry profile, both nationally and globally, especially with the Indo-Pacific tensions regarding South China Sea. Elsie?
All right, Marvy, thank you for that report, live from Australia. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo meets his counterparts from Australia, India, and Japan in Tokyo to discuss how to counter China. The so-called Quad meeting comes as all four countries seek to form a front against China. Pompeo has said the meeting was something they have been working on for a long time. The Quad group is represented by Japan's Toshimitsu Motegi, Australia's Maris Pine, and India's Subramaniam Jaishankar. The officials are expected to discuss issues including the coronavirus pandemic and cybersecurity. Pompeo has opted to scrap 2 additional stops in South Korea and Mongolia that were originally part of his Asia trip. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the New Zealand passport finds its way to the top in the world's power rankings. Raquel Evangelista, one of our fellow correspondents here in New Zealand, will explain why live. Yes, Raquel?
Elsie, the Kiwi passport shared the top position alongside Japan as powerful passports in the world amid the pandemic. But recent rankings showed New Zealand solely on top. The New Zealand Little Black Book was deemed to be the most powerful passport by Index, which compares the access granted by the passports of 193 United Nations member countries. It means that New Zealand passport holders has now visa-free access or visa on entry to 129 countries, which is up from 80 during the peak of coronavirus pandemic earlier in the year. According to Passport Index Harant Bogosian, New Zealand's excellent handling of the COVID-19 crisis reflected in its citizens quickly being accepted to travel to other nations. Japan has slipped back to second place with 128, alongside Germany, Austria, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Ireland, South Korea, and Australia. Top 3 include Sweden, Belgium, France, Finland, Italy, Spain with 127. Top 4 includes Netherlands, Denmark, Portugal, Lithuania, Norway, Iceland, UK, and Canada with 126. Top 5 includes Malta, Slovenia, Latvia with 125. Top 6, Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Poland, Hungary, Liechtenstein with 124. Top 7, Slovakia with 123. Top 8, Cyprus, Croatia, Monaco with 121. Top 9, Romania and Bulgaria with 120. Top 10, San Marino, Andorra, Uruguay with 115. Elsie?
Raquel, when the passport index says powerful passport, what does this mean?
Elsie, it means that you can enter a particular country without any visa at all, or you can enter their country then acquire a visa upon entering. So the more country you can enter visa-free, the more powerful your passport is. Elsie?
Raquel, Auckland will transition to Alert Level 1 tomorrow, Wednesday. But what travel restrictions are still in place for local travelers and international travelers?
Elsie, when traveling locally and using public transport, the NSED COVID Tracer app is highly recommended, and also using a face mask. Though not legally required, but it is highly encouraged when using public transport. International travelers arriving to New Zealand must complete at least a 14-day of managed isolation or quarantine at an isolation facility and will be tested for COVID-19 as well. New Zealand borders is closed to most travelers and entry is strictly controlled. If traveling to New Zealand from October 5, a voucher confirming your place in a managed isolation facility needs to be arranged before boarding a flight. Elsie?
Thank you, Raquel Evangelista, reporting live from Wellington, New Zealand. And those are the reasons behind the news here in New Zealand and in other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you, Elsie Marcos, reporting live from Auckland, New Zealand.
And those are the reasons behind the news, October 6, 2020. I am Jorlin Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Angelo Castro III.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.